Today, we're going to take a closer look at Twilio. The stock is down roughly 85% from its 5-year high. The stock is now sitting at a market cap of roughly $11 billion. On today's episode, what I want to do is take a closer look at two things. First, what is negatively impacting Twilio right now? And second, the kind of growth opportunities this company can see, especially with its recent heavy push with generative AI. Let's take a closer look in today's episode. So like I mentioned, first I want to take a closer look at what's negatively impacting the overall company. And this is a company that's losing a nice amount of money. We can see in the most recent quarter, the company did see roughly $1 billion in total revenue. But if we take a closer look at loss from operations, it was nearly down $260 million. And this company does spend a lot of money in things like research and development, sales and marketing, general and administrative. On the bright side, though, the company has made a lot of changes. Unfortunately, most of those changes have been laid off, are laying off employees, and the company is kind of focusing on becoming a lot leaner and meaner machine and overall kind of improve the overall financials. But we can see right now the company is losing money with the way the company has been running in the past few quarters, in the past few years. But like I mentioned, things are changing around. If we also take a closer look, right, even though this company has a nice amount of cash and short-term investment, roughly $4 billion in cash, they do have about $1 billion in cash, and they do have about $1 billion in total long-term debt. So overall, remember, this is a company that if we take a closer look at in the trailing 12 months is burning cash flow from operations, roughly $334 million. And at the same time, it does have a very, very high stock-based compensation, right? Normally, when we take a look at software companies and software companies that tend to have very high stock-based compensation, they tend to have positive cash flow from operations. But that's not the case happening here with Twilio. On the bright side, like I mentioned earlier, the company is trying to do better and trying to become a leaner machine. So on the bright side, maybe in the upcoming quarters, this could change. The company is already making a nice amount of changes. For example, in the most recent quarter, the company did have stock-based compensation of $170 million. One of its lowest in the past year. One of the main reasons is obviously less employees, less stock-based compensation. But then the company is also doing some stock buybacks. They actually did stock buybacks for the first time ever, roughly $115 million. So the company is trying to, even though it is diluting shares still, is trying to reduce that effect by, one, reducing stock-based compensation quarterly, and two, kind of having a bit of a stock buyback program to kind of help offset that dilution. So a lot of good and bad here, but overall financials and just the business itself are some of the reasons to be a little bit bearish and what's kind of driving this stock down a nice amount. Finally, I do want to talk about just the overall business. We can see even though in the most recent quarter, revenue did grow 15% on an organic revenue trend, we can see that that trend has decreased dramatically over the past few quarters. Just a few quarters ago, this was a company that organically was growing at 30%. Now it's only growing at 15%. Another thing to remember, though, is a few quarters ago, we do have a lot has shifted in macroeconomics in the past few quarters, but still, this company is not the growth machine that it used to be. Another kind of example, if we take a closer look at dollar-based net expansion, we are seeing a bit of a decrease here. So overall, these are painting bad pictures for the company's total business. Even their quarterly non-GAAP gross profits, right? Originally, just a quarter ago was in the 20%. Now it's in the low teens. Again, I just want to reiterate that, hey, this is happening, but we are kind of in a weak macroeconomic, which might be impacting this a lot. But these are some of the bearish things impacting the company. I do want to say there's one more point that maybe investors are kind of careful about. The company is reorganizing itself, not only with just employees, right? They are kind of doing some form of layoffs, unfortunately. But the other thing is this company is kind of reorganizing itself into two businesses. The first, each focus in different areas and each kind of in different as life of the business. First is Twilio Communication, and this is the bread and butter of the company. This is the more mature play, so not much growth there. The second is Twilio's data and applications, and this is their primarily focus on growth. But right now we can see, right, the company is kind of shifting a lot and during a really crazy time. So I want to say one of the biggest things with Twilio is there's so much uncertainty happening in the stock where it might kind of cause a lot of fears for investors. And this is where are you kind of investing in more like a turnaround story, and if all these changes are going to be a great impact for the company. I personally enjoy a turnaround story. I could see Twilio turn things around. I do like the organic, the two changes in kind of the business. I do enjoy their kind of data and applications segment, which has huge growth opportunities, especially because Twilio has a lot and a lot of data. And second is the communication, which is a more mature business. I do believe that this is still a market that's expected to grow. Again, financially, I'm also kind of happy of seeing even those stock-based compensation decreasing and stock buybacks increasing. I also am excited that this company has plenty of cash. And even though they do have long-term debt and are kind of negative in cash flow from operations, in my opinion, this is not a company that's financially going to go anywhere anytime soon. So I want to say Twilio at the moment is definitely one of those companies where it's more if you're looking at a turnaround story, because right now things don't look perfect if you look at the numbers now, but it does seem like management is heading in the right direction.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
Now, I want to say one thing that really excites me about Twilio is the company's push into generative AI. And this is what's very great about Twilio. Twilio is mainly a company that has done with communications, right? They create building blocks to add some form of communication via text message, email to your application, to your website, or to whatever. And unfortunately, that might be a bit of because of generative AI and kind of assistant coding, the company might see some weakness or some kind of increased competition in this space. So Twilio, to kind of combat that competition, one of the greatest strengths that this company has is not their API products, it's not their kind of messaging products, but it's the data that they have collected along the way. And so on June 6th, Twilio came out with Customer AI. And Customer AI couples the power of large language models with the rich customer data that flows through Twilio's customers engagement platform to help companies unlock the potential of their customers. And this is where Twilio, I want to say, has a nice lead over whatever competitor they have. Is that, hey, sure, they have APIs that kind of deal with the communication aspect, but what's more important is they have the strong amount of data sets on customers that can help companies grow even better. So they kind of talked a little bit of how kind of this generative AI can help Twilio. First is it can help enrich the segment growth and profiles. So using large language models and natural large language processing, NLP, Twilio will kind of infer traits about a customer in real time based on customer conversations and kind of be able to create these golden profiles on customers and be able to hit them with the right ads and overall kind of optimize their personalized marketing experience. Obviously, because this is a company that deals with communication, generative AI can also transform the contact center. At a macro level, supervisors and executives will have a greater visibility into the trends impacting the efficiency and the effectiveness of their contact centers. So overall, again, collect a lot more data. With that more data, be able to create some amazing large language models and data sets for the customers or Twilio so their customers can get a better experience. So I do believe Twilio has that strong data set that I believe can be a good bullish case. Another announcement on June 7th, Twilio and Google Cloud expanded their partnership to improve customer experience with AI. So they announced of an expansion of their long-standing partnership to bring Google's cloud generative AI to Twilio's customers' engagement products to improve experience for millions of users. So for more than a decade, Google Cloud and Twilio have been working together to innovate in the customer engagement space. Today, the companies are exploring new ways to infuse generative AI into Twilio's Flex, which is their digital engagement solution platform. They do mention as part of the expanded partnership, Google Cloud and Twilio are announcing a new native integration between Google Cloud Contact Center AI and Twilio Flex. The integration makes it easy to deploy sophisticated AI powered virtual agents that can offer conversational self service interactions, which can be deployed in a single click. So, this means that customers can receive 24/7 assistance and have their needs addressed quickly with 30 plus languages and variant support. So, we can definitely see how generative AI can kind of help out the communications market, and how Twilio, in my opinion, is kind of really trying to be in the forefront of this market, because I do believe if they don't, this is a market that they can really get attacked on by numerous competitors. The final thing I want to talk about is Twilio recently, yesterday on January 28th, announced that Frame AI have a partnership to uplevel contact center experiences with artificial intelligence. So Twilio's customer AI set to dramatically increase operational efficiency for Flex customers. So they do mention that Frame AI, the next generation AI-driven platform for customer intelligence, today announced a partnership to leverage AI to enhance customer engagements delivered with Twilio Flex. So again, we can continue to see how Twilio is trying to be in the forefront of this AI market, and they're making numerous partnerships. And the great thing is they're using the strength of their data set. So I do want to say this is one of the bullish case for Twilio. And the company, like I mentioned, this is more of like a turnaround story to some extent. The company improving their overall financials, the company kind of reducing stock-based compensation, the company changing the way its business is reorganized, the company unfortunately laying off and becoming a leaner, meaner machine, and the company kind of focusing in a mature business and a growth business, and finally a company focused in generative AI and kind of being able to improve thanks to the huge data sets that the company has. So I think in this episode we were able to see why maybe certain investors might be bearish in this company, but why certain investors might be bullish. I believe in the market cap of $11.66 billion, or I mean almost $10 billion, this is definitely has more reward to, I really enjoy the risk to reward ratio, right? And I really do enjoy the stock at this price. At the same time, this is not a stock I would go crazy on and make a huge position, because there is a nice amount of risk and the stock can continue to decline. So let me know in the comments below, how do you think Twilio will do in the upcoming year? Do you think this is definitely a strong investment, or do you see this more of a pass because of too much risk? Again, maybe if you're more into a turnaround story, Twilio looks a lot more enticing. So again, let me know. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.